This is the PING G410 Plus driver, the first to feature an adjustable weighting system in the head at the back here, and with a newly engineered hosel too, now adjustable through 8 positions. So lots of adjustability to really dial in this driver to the best settings for you. And in this video, I'm going to run you through how to make these adjustments. So let's dive right in. Now for first time adjusters, a quick word on the opening and locking mechanisms of the screws on the driver. That is this hosel screw and this weight pad screw. They both open the same way. To open or loosen, either you place the wrench into the top of the screw and you turn anti-clockwise to open them. Now to tighten the screw, you turn it clockwise, and the screw, when fully tightened, it makes an audible click sound. Don't be worried about that. It's just to let you know the sleeve is safely locked in place and to avoid over tightening. Now let's start, shall we, with this 16 gram adjustable weight in the back of the driver here, because its position will have the biggest influence on how this driver plays. By default, the screw will be in the center position, which will of course be best to hit straight shots, but it can be loosened and moved to either the heel position or the toe position. So if we go ahead and loosen the screw and pop it off, and then reattach it in the heel position like this, for instance, it will give the PING G410 Plus driver a draw bias. Now, PING say over the length of an average drive, the weight in the heel position will draw the ball 10 yards. So if I suffered from a constant slice, or I wanted to eliminate the right hand side of the golf course, I would use this setting. Now conversely then, if we loosen the weight and this time reattach it into the toe position, we are now setting up the driver to fade the ball. So if you were hooking your tee shots, try the weight in this fade position to see if you can get some correction. Again, with a 10-yard fade effect, you should notice a difference. It's worth noting at this point that the PING G410 Plus has a huge moment of inertia rating. It's over 9,000. So wherever you place the weight at the back, this driver will be a very stable, forgiving and easy to hit driver. So don't be afraid to experiment with it. Now onto the newly engineered hosel or trajectory tuning 2.0 adjustable loft sleeve, to give it its real title. In total, we can change the loft of this driver by 3 degrees. We can increase the loft by 1.5 degrees or decrease it by 1.5 degrees. And in the factory setting, this driver will be in the neutral position. This little white arrow here lines up with this big 0 here, meaning the driver plays at the stated loft of 9 degrees. So let's go ahead and unscrew this driver head. Takes a few turns. I usually hold it in my thumb and forefinger and just ease it off. There it is. We pop off the head. When we do, we can see some numbers here on the hosel corresponding to the loft and lie settings we can choose from. Now, if for instance we wanted to increase loft, we can line up the arrow with this small plus like this to add exactly 1 degree of loft, or we can line up with the big plus to add 1.5 degrees of loft. So if I move to the big plus, for example, reattach the head and tighten the screw, this driver will play at 10.5 degrees of loft and the lie angle remains unchanged. Adding loft to the driver brings up not just the ball trajectory but the spin rate of the driver, which generally means a little less distance but a more stable ball flight. Now if I wanted to reduce loft, we again have the choice of the small minus, which is 1 degree less, or the big minus, which is 1.5 degrees less. Say I choose the small minus this time, line up the arrow and reattach the driver, it will now play at 8 degrees loft and the lie angle remains unchanged. Less loft means a lower ball trajectory and bringing the spin rate of the golf ball through the air down a little bit, which generally means longer drives but with a little less forgiveness. Now, if we rotate the hosel all the way around to the back, we see there are 3 more options here which we can choose. And as the text says here, these are flat settings. Now if we choose the 0 setting here and reattach the head, the driver's loft will play as stated, that is 9 degrees, but the club will lie flatter at address. We also have the option of going plus or minus 1 degree flat. Why would you use flat settings? Well, some players at address might not be as tall as others. Some might like to have their hands lower, and a flat setting just works better for them. And actually, club fitters often also use the flat settings as an anti-draw mechanism. It's very difficult to hook a drive in one of these flat settings. Now, one point of note also is that as you adjust the hosel in your PING G410 through the various settings, the actual grip will spin too. So for instance, this Golf Pride logo might go to one side or the other depending on the setting, but you can get lots of 360 grips now without logos if that does bother you, and you can change it. So that's the PING G410 Plus driver. If you're a PING fan and you like the idea of adjustability and tuning your driver, this is a terrific option for you. It's incredibly easy to experiment, and now that you're armed with all the information, you should have no problem optimizing this driver to suit you out on the range. Now, if this video has helped you, please do give the Golfbidder YouTube channel a like and subscribe down below. It means a lot to us. And make sure to stay up to date with the very latest equipment news and offers on Golfbidder Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. From me for now though, it's Donal, out.